All right, I was checking out the medical media today, and one of the big stories was that there has been a general practice that has been hit with an $800,000 payroll tax. Now, this is interesting because obviously general practices have been set up a certain way for a long time, and they've never come in for payroll tax, but the governments are choosing to say, okay, actually you guys are up for payroll tax. And the interesting thing is that most general practitioners, like their practices, aren't going to be able to sustain that. And so we should see either people stepping in to say no payroll tax for general practice, which opens its own can of worms. Hopefully someone would be wise enough to go, you know what, maybe payroll tax sucks. Instead of trying to solve it for one particular group and say, hey, okay, GPs, you don't have to pay it. How about we just get rid of payroll tax? Like literally, why would you want to do that? That you want to stop a business from growing. Guess where the money comes from, governments? It comes from people working. And if you make it harder and harder to work, then people stop. And in Australia, for sure, like people will do a lot to keep their houses. But if you make it so impossible, it's like, okay, you know what? Stuff it. What else could we see? Well, we could see that GPs start to morph with how payroll tax is defined. Now, are you on the payroll if you're at two practices? Probably not. So suddenly we're going to see potentially a lot of practitioners say, I'm going to work here and I'm going to work there. And therefore we can all avoid payroll tax. So we may see things like this, but if the first comes to pass where the practices go under, this is going to be very interesting because it's two states that are doing this, New South Wales and Victoria, leading the charge on this, but they already have a massive problem with their emergency departments. If you close the general practices, what happens? What happens? Not much at the beginning. That's the interesting thing. We're already seeing this right now with all the interest rate rises, that people are not coming as much. And so what will occur? Well, there's an old saying, stitch in time saves 9. So instead of paying for one stitch, we've got to pay for 9. But who pays? Typically, it's going to be the state governments, the very ones who are installing the payroll tax. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all this plays out. When you start messing with the medical system, there is the potential for chaotic results. You're like, okay, well, I thought this would happen, but in actual fact, that happened. And the system is not strong at the moment. We just came through COVID. We just shut down the world for 2 years. There's already many problems. So what we're going to see, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. But if GP declines, there may be an opportunity for concierge medicine, high priced. There may be just people quitting medicine entirely and just going, you know what? I've had enough of this. This sucks. Out of here. They may move overseas where opportunities are better. There are many potential opportunities, but you need to be aware of these. And the trigger may well be this payroll tax. It's like, okay, we're not going to be able to play under these rules. What's going to happen? I don't know. What's important is to stay nimble, stay quick, stay on your ability to move with changes and move with what's happening. Keep an eye out on this payroll tax. If it is affecting your practice, learn the rules, get good advice, invest in good legal advice, find out what the rules are, make sure you don't get pinged for it. So we're going to enter into this. I'm curious as to what happened. What are your thoughts on payroll tax? Post it up in the comments. Look forward to catching you again very soon.